in the draft phase.
Yeah, especially when you're across from Aime, who have Jinjo and Road. Road being phenomenal down there. We are in Champ Select, though, ladies and gentlemen, as Bard and Trundle are going to be taken away from Aime. And no surprises, as the Rise and the Vladimir are removed from Easyhoon. Of course, Easyhoon hasn't seen a Vladimir available so far in the LPL. We've seen how devastating that champion can be. I just want someone to forget to ban it.
It's been perma-banned away from him, and we have triple mid-ban on Aime. So again,
that's the respect.
Where does Vici like to play? They like to play through Dandy and Easyhoon, shut those guys down. They're also very restricted in their champion pool pickup. Not that Dandy and Easyhoon can't play everything, but so far, Easyhoon has only played control mages. Dandy has only played hard carry junglers, which is why we see that priority pick on Kindred.
Yeah.
But with Rek'Sai and Gragas and Elise coming back into the meta, opening up more viable options for a hard carry top laner, more of a utility style bot lane, I think that this actually restricts Vici a lot in terms of their draft phase, knowing that, okay, we know for sure it's always going to be a hard carry jungle. We know for sure it's always going to be a wave clear mid laner. Let's just beat them with a different composition. Let's run a split pushing top laner and run them around the map.
Yeah, and they're very good at adapting on the fly too. Aime have been drafting very, very well so far here in the LPL. They find themselves ways to deal with a lot of things. Of course, Road having that pocket Tahm Kench, in case anyone decides to build those pick comps out of nowhere. But it is going to be the Victor looked at. It makes a lot of sense for Athena, who's been playing a heck of a lot of the champion. But also, there's just not a lot of top-tier mid laners left available, as Swain, Vlad, Rise, and Azir all taken off the board. I mean, I think the sort of last one you're looking at is the likes of LeBlanc.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to this idea that the only other champion that Easyhoon has shown so far out of the pool that's been collected is his Lissandra.
Yeah.
Now, his Lissandra is a great pick for the team just because it unlocks Easyhoon earlier from his lane, allows him to impact the side lanes sooner. But we'll see if he goes that route or if maybe they change everything up and he looks towards an assassin pick.
We'll see what is going to be picked up here is, of course, Karma is still available, a champion that has seen relative priority. Echo is going to be locked in, though.
Necessarily agree with Aime not prioritizing the Echo in second rotation. All of their games, majority of the top laner that they're playing has been on that Echo.
Yeah.
Obviously, it makes sense for Amazing J, again, a big split pusher. To give it away to Long, obviously you can get the counter pick there, so we'll see if maybe he has something up his sleeve.
Like the Fizz, something like that.
Yeah, but I feel like they're actually prioritizing denying Endless, just a safe champion like Sivir. Endless can perform on a Lucian, every AD carry can play it. But again, if you give power to the AD carry position in Vici, it's not going to go as far as if you give it to anyone else on any other team.
Yeah. Well, considering the Maokai at the moment, not necessarily an Amazing J champion, we do like to see him on the likes that can get right up in your face and then possibly have a little bit more chance of getting out. But cycling through a few different options. There's the Karma that we were talking about before, now being hovered by Jinjo. And this sort of looks like pretty standard stuff from the Aime squad if they are going to lock it in a couple of seconds.
This is a question I had, though, is what kind of composition would they draft against Vici? I suspected that they might go for a split push and just really try to exploit Vici through their weakness in side lanes, again, their bot and their top lane not being as strong as the core of the team. Yeah. But it actually looks like they're going to face Vici head-on for a 5v5 team, especially if Amazing J does pull the trigger on that Maokai pick, which also makes sense. Vici really like to play their early game, snowball ahead as far as possible, and try to build a gold lead to compensate for their inability to 5v5. It looked better in their game against LGD, but it's still a very clear weakness.
Oh, we'll see what Aime are going to answer with it. So Lissandra, like you were talking about, has been locked away. Easyhoon a little bit pigeonholed into that one after all of the bans and the Victor pick away, but definitely a champion that he's able to do fantastic things on, and still has her place in the meta as well at the same time. We have sort of seen her lessen the priority, but teams like Snake do still love to pick that one up, and of course is often seen banned away in the mid lane there for tank.
I mean, frankly, she's just not as strong as the likes of Victor and Azir, but like you said, the changes to itemization means that she's getting a lot more CDR a lot earlier without changing any of her build paths. She's still relatively flexible. She's not punished by running a double teleport. Right now, Easyhoon has Ignite. We'll see if he changed that spell up. So I still think that she's in a healthy enough spot right now.
I also really love the fact that it does force your opponent mid laner to pick up that cleanse, so you're not going to be up against that double teleport and allow Aime to move around the map. And this is something that they've been very, very good at doing, especially in the very early stages of the game, dictating the flow of the match straight out of the gate. And this is something that Vici have historically been very good at as well.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, is how do Vici beat you? They beat you by snowballing their duo in the mid and jungle position. and then beating you around the map by making superior collapses, because they play with vision really well. Dandy's their jungler.
Yep.
And they play the macro game fairly decently.
Well, as you can see, it's a bit of a move fast comp coming out of IMA, as they do have the On the Hunt and, of course, the mantraed E out of Road, just to make sure everyone's as quick as possible. Get Amazing J right into the back line, and Athena the most, I guess, safety as possible on this Azir that doesn't, the Victor, doesn't have all of that much maneuverability. But, I mean, I feel that if Vici get on top of you and get their game plan working, this sort of layering of CC and the power that they have in all of these areas, not to mention the Lamb's Respite, could be very difficult for IMA to come up against.
My concern is how IMA are going to slow them down in the early game just because it's Rek'Sai versus Kindred.
Yeah, it's a really good point, but the coaches are going to shake hands. Let's get into game number 1. Thank you very much, Dandy, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Summoner's Rift for game number 1 between Vici and IMA. Vici looking to try and claw out of that 4th place position. IMA holding 2nd at the moment with only 1 defeat against WE. And this could actually be sort of a real momentum changer for a team like Vici, who really want to move towards that top side of the bracket. I
mean, this series is important because I feel like both these teams are on the line of, are we in the top part of this group or are we in the bottom part of this group? And the winner here will pretty much determine who gets to take that spot. Something that I do want to touch on is we do see a level 1 invade from Caveman, just kind of a brute forcing his way in with Braum strength, is middy's options for gank paths. So if you look at the 2v2 mid-jungle, jungle top, Rek'Sai Maokai versus Echo Kindred, or Lissandra Kindred versus Victor Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that to Vici. Dandy's got the superior matchup here. He's got a lot more kill pressure available to him. I feel like middy's only options right now is a very early gank on top lane with the twisted advance into an unburrow. And more importantly, just for him to keep track on Dandy and make sure that he can't get these 2v2s, that he can't start snowballing his lanes. So just track him with the Rek'Sai. But as I say that, we actually have an initiated lane swap.
Yeah, of course. Endless took a heck of a lot of damage out of Poke from the IMA bottom lane, so he's going to head back to base and decides instead of heading back to the bottom lane, he's going to be heading out there towards the top side, as Long and Dandy are going to start here on the Krugs, and it is going to be mirrored by the bottom lane of IMA. So, look, we'll see how the lane swap is going to go and what the reaction is here. But I do like it out of Vici because, of course, you know, the bottom lane hasn't necessarily been their strong point. And IMA have definitely been relying on Road and Jinjiao, especially as that late game insurance.
It's also going to be a little bit slow to catch from IMA. Amazing J walking to the top side does manage to get his 3 creeps before returning to double jungling, so being caught off slightly. See how the response is for these waves. But again, it also does vastly change the dynamic of the 2v2 in jungle mid and jungle top that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Now becomes an isolated mid lane Lissandra versus Victor. And Caveman actually poking his head and finding Middy and Amazing J.
Yeah, of course, red buff was already taken. They're just going to give up those little raptors. As that is actually going to be the camp that Dandy's looking for here. We'll see whether it actually goes over there.
Should be noted, though, that the initial dragon spawn is going to be that Infernal Drake, so looking for those combat stats. Typically, when we've seen a lane swap, the rhythm of it is that the team who has their dual lane in the top side take the tower. Everyone has their gentleman's agreement. They swap back down. So technically, Vici should, if they follow the pace that we've seen, have the advantage on the dragon position.
Well, we'll see whether they can do that, whether a change is going to be made here from IMA as they're shoving down this turret relatively quickly, yet to crash into the top lane outer turret over the side of Vici. So if IMA manage to get a better start here, they might be able to deny a potential dragon take, but could potentially be difficult.
It's really just the threat of, because it's so early in the game and you're such a low level, if the enemy jungler and mid laner are in a advantageous position, it's very easy to stop it.
Yep.
Which is why initially the team who starts out on top and then swaps back, you have more levels, more experience. It gets a little bit safer over time. But like you said, if everything's poised well, if they see where Dandy is, maybe could pull the trigger on it. It does do a lot of damage, and they're going to go ahead and try it.
That was very interesting what just happened there. As you can see, it is going to be 3 people taking down this dragon earlier on, and IMA just looks like their continued Dragon focus that they've had throughout the LPL here is going to happen. So,
and the
bit of a denial.
The big difference is the fact that Dandy isn't in any position to try to contest this again. If the enemy jungler or the enemy mid laner are kind of hanging around, it gets a lot more iffy.
Yep.
But with Kindred was on the top side of the map, reset her position, was in base, it's going to be a free Dragon. So I like the adaptation from IMA, not to give that one away, to see the priority in the Infernal Drake. If it was a Cloud Drake, I assume that they probably would have swapped back. Again, that gentleman's agreement, opening up the side lanes.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that they didn't waste any time doing it either. I mean, that top lane outer turret went down the same time as the Dragon, so as far as tempo is concerned, they're still on exactly the same page as Vici, but they're just a Dragon in the lead, and it's that Infernal Drake. This is good news for IMA.
It also means that we'll have 5 Dragon spawns if they're continuously taken as early as when they spawn for this game, which means the potential of having all 3 Infernal Drakes stack is about 37 to 40% now.
So as we move forward in this game, I mean, what has to happen for Vici in order to secure a victory for this particular comp?
Well, right now they've kind of... it's this idea that you get Easy Hoon to the late game.
Yep.
The 55-minute game-changing team fights, obviously very well known for his ability to do that. And so for Vici, I think that they're just going to try to stay away from IMA. The scary thing is as these towers fall down, as the map opens up, that does empower picks like Karma, like Sivir, to just continuously run you down. It also means that flanking teleports are far easier to pull off. Vici are a bit more diligent than other LPL teams with their side vision control.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little bit harder against them, but...
just have to see how it goes. As you can see, Midi actually went back and got a very early Sightstone. IMA, of course, wanting to control this map as much as possible, and it looks like you were saying, they've identified that Vici just want to have a calm, collected game. Acceleration might be the view on the other side of the rift.
I just feel like in the end, this is where IMA want to play their composition earlier, though, on a very open map, where they can make the most out of their early skirmish, early 5v5 power with that Maokai. Again, he's a low econ top laner. He doesn't need as much gold as Echo to really get up and online. And I feel like Vici, in their draft phase, they prioritied the Echo and second rotation to take it away from Amazing J, but it's not necessarily Long's style of champion. He's more so that role player, that tank player. And that they're putting their Echo down by looking into this lane swap, and it may come back to bite them if IMA can execute on an early team fight.
Well, I am actually forcing Vici to react to them right now. You can see the backs coming in from the Vici members on the bottom side of the map as Long is desperately trying to take down this outer turret, but already the wave crashing into this inner turret. They will get some damage down onto it, but if anything, they're still just going to deny any potential freezes to come in for Vici.
This also does mean that they'll get the chip damage and can contest and threaten on the mid lane possibly. So Respect coming out of Easy Hoon and Dandy actually shadowing over top of him. The reason why he's standing in that brush is to make sure that Easy Hoon doesn't get dove.
Yeah, and you can see as well, IMA just utilizing that Mantra E, get themselves to safety, utilizing Road's added movement speed augmentation. They're going to be more than fine.
In the end, though, good news for Long on this Vici lineup is he's actually going to get about a wave and a half more creeps over Maokai. Maokai doesn't have an area to farm right now, whereas Echo has a small CS lead that's actually going to continue to grow because he has a wave pushing into him.
He's actually choosing to head back as well, so just understanding that he's a little bit far up, knows that that wave is going to be shoving through, doesn't want to throw it back into IMA and allow Jinjiao to control it. It's an interesting maneuver, but you can see it is actually Endless that's going to be the benefactor of that bottom lane wave of creeps.
They could have given it to Echo. He could have been a full wave ahead of Maokai.
You could have been something.
Instead, they give it to their AD carry.
Who is...
I'm shocked because where does Vici not carry from?
Yeah, that's the bottom lane. But it's also a little bit the top lane as well. I mean, we're talking about this. We're like Dandy Easy Hoon. That's their show. I'm surprised that Easy Hoon didn't just like, you know, glacially path his way down there.
That entire wave could have been for Echo. And I just don't necessarily agree. Like, obviously, Lucian's a great champion, but again, Endless has never been the hard carry for this Vici squad. Long is much more consistent and stable a player for Vici. I would have prioritized for him, but we'll see if maybe Endless steps up.
Well, right now, actually losing out on a trade there is Long going aggressive onto Amazing J. Does avoid the parallel convergence, but if you're talking about chase potential, Echo has it in spades.
He's also got Swifties.
He most certainly does. There's a Twisted Advance as the flash comes in. And Long is just going to push him all the way out. Amazing J just not used to having the upper hand in a duel.
So just choosing not to take the free farm on the Echo, understanding that the lane assignment against the Maokai, you're still winning at this point in the game. With the itemization into the Swifties, it means that the chase potential and the safety for Echo to be on this extended of a lane is okay. So we see Long flex his ability there.
Well, you can see Amazing J not going to lose out on it too much. Has his couple of Ruby Crystals, now some Swifties of his own, so he will stand a little bit more of a chance getting away. But probably not against the passive of an Echo, which is pretty ludicrous as far as getting you speeded up.
But these are the standard lanes that I expected Vici to take from the beginning. Again, I think it's a little bit questionable to go into a lane swap. It wasn't as executed as cleanly as I would have liked, simply because IMA did get the Dragon advantage and some chip damage on an inner turret.
Yep.
But if they're in standard lanes, their composition, especially with that Kindred, makes them a lot stronger. So see if they can be continuously be proactive and really start to abuse the advantage that Echo has in that top lane.
And it looks like Vici actually do have a lot of faith in this bottom lane as well. You can see on the bottom side of the map, 3 pink wards, 2 very, very deep into the IMA jungle, just trying to make sure that Caveman and Endless have all the information that they need. Dandy as well is hunting around here. Ginger out, bit of a cute little trade there as the culling does come out. Not going to get too much damage down onto the Sivir.
So it's a good response from Vici. Unfortunately, it's just a Cloud Dragon, but because the wave is pushed so forward on the top side of the map, Long resets his positioning. They immediately walk to the initial spawn and get a free objective. Again, it's just unfortunate that it's the Cloud Drake.
Probably would have been something that IMA would have been looking for, though, because this is a dragon that they can utilize as a team stylistically, because they do like to move around the map. They don't like sort of staying in combat and fighting all the time. They want to be able to get it into the right positions, take away all your turrets, and that would have helped them do that. So I think it's good denial out of Vici.
It's really IMA understanding that they weren't ready to fight then.
Yeah.
They just have the Swifties on their Maokai. He's not entirely prepared because Echo got the early back in front of him, so he had the advantage in terms of just his combat stats. You've got plenty of wave clear on IMA's composition in Sivir and Victor, so they can continue to stall this out for however long they like. Wait for that perfect 5v5 moment and beat Vici where they're weak. Their synergy and cohesion as a unit.
We'll see whether they can. Amazing J, though, was the benefactor of Long heading back and taking that dragon. Did manage to get himself 16 creeps ahead. Has been evened out now by the Echo, but we'll see whether Amazing J can utilize the extra Spectre's Cowl and a couple more Ruby Crystals in order to help him. Easy Hoon just continuing to shove here in the mid lane. 107, 108. These mid laners just been farming it up.
A bit of an issue, though, that you're allocating and splitting resources between your mid and your AD carry. It's simply because Endless can't be that far extended safely on the bottom side of the map. So just trying to trade this into some chip damage since he has nowhere else to be on the mid tower.
But Midian Road were able to at least hold off that minion wave.
But what it means is you're trading your CS lead. So Endless actually had quite a sizable CS lead. Again, that big wave that was allocated to him as opposed to Long taking it simply because Long realized, I don't need the wave to beat this Maokai anyway.
Yep.
Has now shrunk. Still about a 10 CS lead between him and Jin Zhao, but it was closer to 20. So that little move in the mid, that's what you gave up for it.
Well, you can see 4-man strong here over on the Rift Herald. Long's even going to move down as well. They want to give him that split pushing power as Ward goes over. IMA are aware of this. Midi's just going to let that one go. Long going to pick... Oh, actually, Dandy's going to grab it. So, of course, this is where they have their power. It makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, this is actually quite standard in the LPL as well. I believe only Invictus Gaming have been one of the few teams that actually prioritizes giving the Glimpse of the Void buff to their top laner as opposed to the jungler. Obviously, jungler can still get use out of it.
Oh, of course. And especially when you're something like a Kindred that does like a bit of a one-on-one tussle every now and again. Teleport going to be coming in here, though.
Counter TP.
Yeah, in fact, the double as Road is going to get caught out of position. Knows exactly what's going to go here. As you're right, Amazing J did answer immediately, so they decided not to turn around and kill the Karma.
That is something about the Rek'Sai composition that we kind of overlooked or haven't touched on quite yet, is this idea of a semi-global presence. So yes, IMA are not running a double teleport comp like Vici Gaming, but by having a Rek'Sai, they're still kind of running a double teleport comp. And it alleviates a lot of pressure for Athena to take a TP on Victor, knowing that his jungler can respond to a double TP threat with Void Rush.
Yeah, it means as well that Athena just not going to die straight up to the Frozen Tomb, which would have been difficult to manage without that cleanse there, as Dandy maybe taking away some wolves, continuing their bottom side pressure, as that was a bit cute. Grabs himself a little Merkwolf, but not going to be able to get the big one, did Midi. And here's the blue steal that comes out as well, right under the noses of Aime.
Yeah, have a very deep ward line, complete control of the bottom side of the map. See if they collapse that onto the inner turret. Whereas Aime have traded all pressure to continue to try chipping away at the opposite inner tower. And it now looks like we're about to have a race.
Yeah, it looks like Midi and Road are going to get here just before Jin Zhao does. Timewind are going to do fantastic work clearing out that wave where he can, and Midi looking for a possible dive.
Frankly, this is more Aime members in position than Vici members, which means that they get not only their wave crashing faster, but they take the tower faster.
Yeah, and they haven't quite decided what they want to do with it after this. No backs to be coming in, so they're going to say, well, we're going to give away this inner turret towards the bottom side of the map, even further opening it up, which does play into their hands.
It's trade 1-for-1, but they do also manage to get the blue buff for Athena.
And protect their mid lane outer turret that EasyHoon was smacking away on.
Difference, of course, is that with Vici having control over the bottom side wave to the extent that they do by having 2 turrets, it gives them more control over the dragon. Again, it's going to be a second spawn of Cloud Drake, so not one of those infernal ocean or mountains that they would probably want.
We'll see what priority Aime do give to it. They do just love dragons.
Well,
they
again,
pinged it just then.
Because it's up so early, you might as well take the free objective.
Yeah.
Get the spawns going earlier. Again, we'll have 5 dragon spawns, or we theoretically could have up to 5 dragon spawns, which means the chance for more infernals. We still don't know what the last dragon element type will be, either the ocean or the mountain. And against a Sivir Karma comp, you know, some extra bonus movement speed won't be too punishing.
No, definitely not. As Road once again narrowly avoiding some trouble there, as Dandy and Caveman did have a look at the Karma. Jin Zhao, though, has been getting some time on the bottom side, but it hasn't really helped him all that much. Endless really, really far ahead. 147 to 121. The Sivir just trying to find her time to farm.
It does mean that fighting this 5v5 for the dragon, Aime should actually just give this one up.
Doesn't necessarily feel like they're in a position to fight this one out, as Endless just pops the culling. Looks to get some poke in there. It's a cheeky double tap on the tower as well. The dragon, of course, did just spawn. So Vici looking to build up all of that movement speed.
And yep, Aime have already resigned themselves. You see the back coming in from Athena, so not going to contest this one at all. Again, it's just a Cloud Dragon, so I like the priority here. They're just continuing to prioritize the farm on the Sivir and the free back into the Victor, as opposed to putting themselves in a risky 5v5 scenario. But like you said, that O, that was for the next Infernal Drake spawn.
Yeah, possible 16% stats here as the dive could be potentially coming in. Nope, they're just going to secure the tower. Glacial Path there from EasyHoon, just zoning the rest of Aime, giving them that space in order to take that one down. So turret lead now picked up for Vici. That's going to mean a gold lead as well, about 1,200, not too much. But things definitely going well for the team that does like to slow things down, get to that late game death stack stage. There's the Chaos Storm though, as EasyHoon's just eating all of it. Caveman just nominates himself to eat even more damage. And that Chaos Storm did all of the work that you could possibly expect out of it.
That said, Aime don't have a wave prepped, and likewise they don't have their big pushing 80 carry in the mid lane with them. So yeah, it does force EasyHoon out of lane, but he does also have teleport, as well as you've got great coverage from Dandy, so it doesn't actually mean anything. It's actually a really important summoner, which means that if Vici want to use this TP, they can look for an engagement. Chaos Storm is down.
Well, there's the Glacial Path, the flash forward as well. Roach is going to get picked off. That's going to be first blood going to Endless there in the bottom lane as Midi. He has to flash away. You can see Dandy just dancing around. But Vici, they've got what they came for. They're going to continue pushing forward. They also don't have a wave, so not going to be that inner turret.
And again,
Dandy's at least going to get a mark.
Just underlining that Chaos Storm use, that was a huge mistake that almost punished Aime even harder if they had traded their lives for that.
Yeah. So it definitely looked good on paper, but EasyHoon probably wanted to be able to get that massive teleport play anyway, and did so beautifully. Rod of Ages now stacking up, looking like he's going towards an Abyssal Scepter as item number 2.
And this lane swap isolated the mid lane that allowed EasyHoon to get to this point, and more importantly, also hid Dandy. We talked about how Midi, he doesn't have a lot of kill pressure, he doesn't have a lot of gank options, just because you've got Maokai one side, you've got Sivir on the other side. by initiating a lane swap, his main priority was to track Dandy. Dandy just got to power farm.
Yeah.
Until we went into standard lanes where he already had an innate lead on Echo and Lucian and just had his laners do the work for him.
And we also did raise the question of, we're building up Endless here. He did manage to get that first blood, almost has the Black Cleaver and that 2-item power spike that these Lucians are now looking towards. Now Dandy just easily steals away that blue buff. Middy's mad about it. And there's the teleport. Amazing J looking to try and flank this one in. Easyhoon is here at exactly the right position. There's the Glacial Path. Had been thrown out. Frozen Tomb was there, of course, as well. It's the Glacial Fissure, but Ime can't find anything. They just get a lot of cooldowns.
Yeah, they burn a lot of key cooldowns. Not only the teleport, but also Amazing J's flash.
Yeah.
Over the Rage blue buff steal.
I like it, though. As Middy still continuing his aggression. There's the knock-up onto Dandy, who wants to dance his way out of this. Not sure whether he's going to be able to, but Road, he's going to get taken down first. Dandy actually grabs it. He's okay, gets over the wall as long. Dodges a lot of the damage of the Chaos Storm, but it's still on top of Caveman. And in goes Easyhoon. Look at this guy. He's just going to die. But Dandy was able to pick one up. Lamb's Respite is there now as they're fighting on top of it. Middy will get the heal as he's trying to get some more work done. Dandy not going to get pissed by the boomerang again, and that team fight was beautiful out of Vici, and Endless picks up a cheeky double at the end.
I may try to go aggressive, thinking that enough cooldowns have been burned from Vici that they have a window of opportunity to fight, but Vici didn't need Lysandre there to turn that. Echo and Kindred were still too strong, and a superior collapse time from Endless.
Look at Dandy, he's just so confident.
I mean, it's a 2v4 right now, and Road just gets obliterated, and they still can't kill them with all of the pseudo-tankiness that Echo and Kindred will have with the Chrono Break and with the Lamb's Respite. When Easyhoon does show up, again, he doesn't have his big ultimate, so he will die, but the work and the damage has already been done by Dandy and Long.
And you can see Endless, he turns up right at the end, able to pick up this easy double kill. And it was the space that was created from Easyhoon. He has to get all of that props, and he's on your screen right now. Look at that smile. He's like, yep, I know. I may be dead, but I'm still able to win a fight.
I don't think I've actually ever seen Easyhoon smile.
I know, you looked incredibly shocked there.
I was shocked. Normally it's just the calm, collected Easyhoon face.
Yeah. And Dandy did a hell of a lot of damage in that last fight. That is double.
Carry-oriented jungler. Again, you look at Dandy's pickups. This team recognizes exactly what their win conditions are. He has not touched a Rek'Sai. He has not touched Gragas. He has not touched Elise. And Dandy was known for his Rek'Sai. He's the big control jungler if you think back to his Korean days. No, on Vici, he is all hard carry all the time. It's either Graves, Kindred, or Nidalee. That's it.
He needs to be the one killing people, and he's definitely doing just that. Staying well and truly ahead here in this farm game, but Middy's doing okay, keeping up as best he can. Spirit Visage almost completed here for the Rek'Sai. As Jin Zhao looking to find his way into a Rift Scuttler and grab himself even more of these items. We'll see what he decides to pick up as item number 2, whether it be the Phantom Dancer or the Static Shift.
And this is the fight that matters as we close in on this dragon, 34 seconds. We already have one Infernal Drake for Ime. They did a great job securing that in the initial lane swap, and in fact, they actually beat Vici around the lane swap quite a bit.
Yeah.
But they've kind of dug themselves a hole where this is still a very scary 5v5. And so I'm curious if they're going to bait into it, if they're going to try to find a pick, if they're going to be able to worm their way into this, or if they're just going to back up, give it away, and sit back and rely on their wave clear and Sivir and Victor, look for another fight down the line.
It's going to have a lot to do with Athena. Just picked up his Lich Bane, so that's a lot of damage.
They're giving it up.
Yep.
Very cautious play coming out of a very young LSBL promotion squad here. I do like the call. I don't think that they're in any position to fight this, but that has to sting as Vici just continue to snowball their lead.
It's going to be another Infernal Drake that's going to come up after this as well. So Vici possibly able to grab the double Cloud, double Infernal.
That means 16% stats up for grab for either of these teams. Obviously, only 3 of the same Drake can spawn in a single game, so this will be the last Infernal Drake for this game.
And even more buff control here coming out from Dandy. So, look, giving him the Kindred, sort of the pick of the litter as far as junglers are concerned, is a very dangerous prospect. Ime, with their ban focus against Easyhoon, might actually be coming back to bite them, because despite the fact that Athena does have a huge lead as far as farm is concerned, not that far ahead otherwise, but this is a very cheeky Baron. No knowledge available here from Middy as the teleport's going to immediately come in from Amazing J. cancelled there, but he's still able to move around if he wants to. Glacial Path now on cooldown, and this Baron still hasn't reset. Road looking to find his way in. Athena, lots of movement speed, and Vici, not quite with the longevity that they're looking for, are going to head back to base.
And this is one of the reasons that Rek'Sai also came back into the meta. Yes, the Cinderhulk changes put her in a really good position in terms of her jungle clear time and then offering him so much tankiness that someone like Kindred and Nidalee won't have. Although, hold on, counter teleport. Here comes Long.
Yeah, Long looking for it right now. Parallel convergence right in the middle of the lane as Road forced to flash, but no stuns are going to come out. Endless able to pick up the first kill. This was a very nice gravity field from Athena in order to stop the rest of Vici. But still, that's the pick, and that's a lot of utility now missing. And Vici going to continue taking things from it. Dandy, swear, he's just had half of the buffs on the enemy side of the Rift.
What it does mean, though, and kind of a breath of relief for IMA, is simply because it was only the support lane, it's just going to translate into losing their blue buff. Vici have to respond to these side waves, which is what we see EasyHoo doing right now.
Yeah.
So they did manage to hold off the Baron threat. Again, a very risky play. Rek'Sai, with the changes to trinkets and the nerfs to vision overall, she does get a little bit passively stronger in terms of how her tremor sense is going to work, especially when you approach a dark Baron pit like that. So still a lot of control and a lot of options left for IMA to stall this game out. And that's what they're looking for right now. Vici, they're strong right now. And yes, they do have options for them late game, namely in Dandy's pocket, as well as Endless's build, empowering that Kindred, having that Korean penetration build, empowering this Kindred to hit harder and harder. But Victor, Sivir, Maokai, that's still a phenomenal late game 5v5 comp, and it's still very difficult to break these towers if Jin Zhao and Athena are ever left alive.
Yeah, Jin Zhao as well does have Road there in his back pocket, and having all of that extra movement speed is just brilliant. Dandy, though, has sort of caught Midi out of position here. The rest of IMA are going to come and give him some support. Only down to about half health, though, is the tanky Rek'Sai.
But this is why Vici are so tunneled on this Baron. They need that power.
Oh, Road once again. Possibly caught out as there's the culling. Road moves himself to a defensive position, but EasyHoon's going to pick that one up, and now Vici want to continue the fight. Jin Zhao flashing out of the way already. And Amazing J does have teleport, didn't have anything to use it on as he moves down from the top lane. And Dandy once again getting aggressive. They haven't started off any Barons, but it's just Road once again getting picked.
Yeah, not Road's game so far. We actually praised the young support player quite a bit. He trained very heavily with Deft when EDG first brought the Korean AD carryover. And we're going to start this Baron call up again. EasyHoon zoning.
Yeah, Amazing J looking to find his way in there as well. Sapling goes down. We'll see whether they can actually get anything done. Some low health buzz on Vici as Jin Zhao over the side of the wall, but EasyHoon, so much damage with the ultimate and making sure that everyone's out of the way. He may fall for this, but there's the Zhonya's. Amazing J as well. He's going to die to Dandy, who just throws down the ultimate, keeps EasyHoon alive. Vici, they're looking like a very different team-fighting team right now as Athena's trying to help out. Long just takes down Jin Zhao, though. And Vici, where has this team fighting been as Midi just takes down Dandy in the back end?
It looked better against the likes of LGD, so like we said, Vici are definitely on the rise. EasyHoon utilizing his home guard to try to pick up a few more kills. Not going to find it. Again, the importance of the Baron, though, is trying to siege into the composition of Victor and Sivir. This is why Vici were so tunneled on it. We know we're stronger right now because our builds are online and we're ready to go. Lissandra mid-game power spike, Lucian mid-game power spike. Our Kindred is so far ahead. But more importantly, we need to secure this buff because otherwise we don't have a lot of options for sieging into Victor Sivir wave clear.
Well, right now, we'll see what they can actually make of it. Of course, Endless did fall down very, very low while he was trying to harass Athena there in the mid lane, so he had to head back to base. Now has his rapid fire cannon completed. I wonder what that Null Magic Mantle's heading towards. Could be all manner of things. Curial Scimitar or the Hex Drinker into Mora Malmorty is probably what's spring to mind.
Just need to start executing on their siege now, which parallel convergence for zone, glacial path for zone, double tap for burning through towers.
Yeah.
They've got options.
Baron buff for minion longevity.
Yep. They are fully online and ready to end this game within the next 5 to 7 minutes.
Well and truly equipped. We'll see whether they can actually do it, though. Of course, Vici known as the team of 1,000 cuts for a long time.
It also means that pressure is on for Amazing J to make a play. It's now IMA picking where that final stand will be. Oh. Obviously, if you die, or you die 5-man on a tower, that could mean the difference between giving up 2 towers versus losing the game. Same time, you don't want to necessarily let yourself be backed into a corner.
Well, you can see right now Vici just getting them away from the inner turret. This Glacial Path once again zoning out of the way. So that is the first turret to fall down from this Baron buff's help. As Jin Zhao doing his best to clear on the bottom side of the map. Dandy just wandering around, taking everything he'd like. And Vici going to augment this Dragon prowess that they've had ever since the first one by grabbing their second Infernal Drake. Elder will be spawning after that, but this is a lot of extra stats. 16% AP and AD. And they're looking to really get a stranglehold on this game. 9-2 is the scoreline.
Yep, 2 Clouds, 2 Infernals, augmented by Elder Drake. That's 1.5 for either of them. And it helps Vici. It pretty much compensates for all of Vici's weaknesses. It empowers their strengths. So they're a macro-based team.
Yep.
Cloud's going to help them rotate around the map, get to those towers and those positions that they want to be. They have a lackluster 5v5. That's totally fine. Here's some extra battle stats. Can't screw this one up.
Damn right. There's also the fact that it's actually really easy to work out how much extra stats you get when you've got 2 of each dragon as well, because it's actually just as if you had 3 after picking up that Elder Drake. So it will be like triple Infernal, triple Cloud, and of course that extra burn on auto attack. That'll be a very, very scary prospect. As Amazing J looking to try and close in on Endless. Pops the Ghost Blade though, he's very, very fast. And he's more than safe. And Aimee just looking like there's some desperation in their movements this time.
Yeah, again, they're getting themselves backed into a corner, so Aimee, they're just looking for when is the perfect engagement, because we have to get the perfect engagement, otherwise this gold discrepancy and the dragon discrepancy will speak for itself and just mowing us over.
But one thing that is good is the fact that Vici weren't able to break open the base with that Baron buff. No times were they able to actually get in there and get any picks. So Aimee will be happy with that. And they'll just continue to try and farm things out, try and find things on the map where they can. Jin Zhao could be building towards his Last Whisper upgrade, or could be going for that Infinity Edge if he wants to just get as much upfront power as possible. You can see I like the Static Shiv pickup a lot, because he can just insta-clear waves.
Unfortunately, he's pretty screwed in terms that he needs both of those items before he really starts becoming effective, simply because Vici are so far ahead of the clock. They've got a lot of armor up and online already. EasyHoon with his Hourglass. Of course, if you look at the top laner, having the Sunfire as well as Iceborne Gauntlet. He's not doing a ton of damage.
No.
So, Aimee, again, they have the tools to stall out, and that's where they're looking to be right now.
Well, we'll see whether they can do it. It's going to have to be a long road, though, for this Aimee squad.
And with
really, they want to win this series as well a lot, because they need to turn around the momentum after their loss to WE.
And the question was for context, you know, where do Aimee actually slot into the scheme of the LPL? They've looked very impressive. Team WE, I think, are regarded as either the 3rd or the 2nd best team in the LPL, not just their group, but across the entirety of the teams. So no one really expected Aimee to beat them there.
However, they did take game number 1, which was pretty impressive.
What's important about this game, though, is this idea that whoever wins here kind of gets to say, okay, this is the cutoff point. Whoever wins, they're actually in the top of the LPL. Whoever loses, they're in the bottom of the LPL, or at least in their group.
Well, we're looking for a catch here as well, as Vici have found Amazing J. The rest of IM have moved around, though. Frozen Tomb onto the tank isn't exactly the priority target, as Aimee have saved him. 2 teleports used here from Vici, and they couldn't find anything from it.
Yeah, committing a lot.
That is just the flash out of Amazing J.
Which means that there's now a window where breath of fresh air for Aimee. They don't have to worry about being ripped around the map. They still have their TP available, as well as that Void Rush from Rek'Sai. The Baron, however, will be spawning in 48 seconds, so priority is making sure that they can get defensive vision around that objective. They want Vici to make a mistake on that, and for Baron to be their 6th member.
Well, right now, they are able to clear out a lot of the wards that are in their own jungle. And there's a lot of respite here, of course. 28 seconds on the Baron. There is far longer time on those teleports that Vici did commit to on the bottom side of the map.
It just makes it harder for Vici to get a free Baron because they can't play cross-map pressure with the TP advantage.
Oh, EasyHoon actually may have found Jin Zhao here. There's the Frozen Tomb once again as he takes him down. That cooldown reduction really doing some work as Lung right on the front line, and Road, he has to go back to base, and that is a key pick-off for Vici. This may just spell Baron regardless.
It's no longer the Karma being put down, like you said. It's that Sivir, so a lot of battle priority gone, but not quite enough, as they haven't cleared out that last ward.
Yeah.
Oh, they go ahead and start it.
Yeah, well, here it goes. There is still a fair bit of time on Jin Zhao here, though, so I have a feeling that Vici are going to be able to lock down this Baron. It does look like Aimee are just going to give it up one more time. Despite that decent play early on, just wasn't enough to get Aimee rolling in this series. It's a 10,000 gold lead now, and with their second Baron buff of the game, Vici are looking to once again put the pressure on.
More importantly, the Elder Drake will also be spawning within the next 46 seconds. Vici have complete control of the map right now. The superior 5v5 should be the Elder Drake, and a very clinical game from Vici. See if they can actually break the base this time around.
Yeah. Amazing J has managed to build up a Frozen Heart. He has 3 items now on this Maokai, but hasn't really been too much of a factor as Endless getting some taps onto midi. No inner turret is here as Caveman chucks down some vision.
They actually blundered the blue buff handoff.
Unfortunate.
Midi and Athena were trying to burn it as quickly as possible on spawn since Vici were moving over to contest it, and Rek'Sai got the blue buff. That's pretty massive. Again, at this point in the game, the blue buff will be giving 15% AP.
Yeah.
And more importantly, having that region in the CDR that you're able to clear creeps as effectively as possible.
Oh my goodness, Lung has 6 items. Admittedly, one of them is a Majara Soul Stealer with not a lot of stacks, but they're still going to be able to make it work as the Elder Drake getting taken down very, very quickly and extraordinarily easily here by Vici. So basically 3 Clouds, 3 Infernals, and a heck of a lot of Burny damage on their auto attacks. And this Vici squad with Baron, with Elder Drake are looking to try and break open this base now once and for all.
Vici were just very clinical. Not the cleanest early game, although they got what they wanted out of it, but I think their draft phase was incredibly powerful. And what's important is that Vici are recognizing why and where they are strong, empowering EasyHoon and Dandy to make the plays to put the team on their back, and for Endless and Long to step up and be relevant.
Damn right. And look, they are now just going to move out of that bottom side. The inhibitor, of course, went down extraordinarily fast. Not a whole lot that Aimee could do about it, as once again, another inhibitor turret to fall, a second inhibitor to go. And Vici just look unstoppable as they move towards the Nexus turrets. Very tanky members. EasyHoon just waiting for his time to go in. There's the twisted advance. Amazing J wants to try and make something of this. Chaos Storm goes down. Dandy in trouble. Has to use the Lamb's Respite very early, but you can see it's all about Vici as Caveman launches himself forward. Midi slowed down and knocked up into the air as Jin Zhao's going to fall. The Nexus is bare, and it's going to be taken down as Vici Gaming take down Aimee.
The Aimee hype train ends here as Vici hit pretty strong in game number 1. We'll see if they can retain consistency throughout the rest of the series, but Dandy looking phenomenal, and I expect to see Kindred taken off the board. The old ban out EasyHoon didn't exactly work for them.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And of course, they're not going to be on the blue side next time around, so I have a feeling that Kindred isn't going to be the pickup that Dandy's going to get. But we've seen, I mean, he just plays sort of any carry-style jungler at all. Things look fine for Vici.
And again, it's this idea that Vici require him to play a carry-oriented jungler. And yes, it helps that Kindred and Italy are kind of the 2 best junglers still currently in the meta, but with the rise of Rek'Sai and Gragas, there are other options, and that's what I expected from Aimee. Again, if we looked at the win conditions of these teams, we know how Vici beat you and where they beat you.
Yeah.
Aimee have so many other options. They can look for a split push. They can look for 5v5. They can look for trying to just splinter through your weak bottom lane to try to power through Endless and Caveman, but they didn't. They didn't try any of that. They just passively gave up lanes by taking a weaker jungle matchup and letting Vici play the dominant early game that they wanted.
Yeah, and they just didn't have the lane strength here as well, and we saw Aimee, they become strong by having Amazing J in a position of power in a 1v1. That is a lot of the time what they need, and Lung, we saw, able to burn a flash very early on in the game, and it meant that Amazing J was never safe in any lane that he went to. And this is a guy that they rely on to create pressure. He wasn't creating anything.
Again, I go back to the draft phase, the fact that it was a priority of Sivir Victor as opposed to taking the Echo and second rotation. We talked about how it's not necessarily, like Long can play Echo, we saw that, but it's not really his MO and what he's really known for. Again, he's more of the Maokai player.
Yeah.
But prioritizing a utility AD carry, I mean, just go toe-to-toe with Endless. That guy plays 2 champions effectively. If you look at his career, it's Kalista and it's Lucian. So beat them, exploit the side lane power, make Amazing J and make Jin Zhao strong. Don't try to beat Easy Hoon and Dandy. That will never work for you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It seems like Vici were able to play exactly the game that they were looking for, but we'll see whether IMA can turn it around in game number 2 right after this break.